There's nothing quite like the feeling of being part of something that involves more people than you can count, of knowing that your part, your work, is an integral cog that keeps the bigger picture running. This is exactly what it feels like to be a part of the worldwide adventure racing network. I originally participated in adventure racing as a spectator. My eldest cousin and some of his friends co-founded a company called Proyecto Aventura and designed the biggest adventure race in Ecuador. Their company grew until they held a number of smaller races in addition to Huayracinchi, the original 3-day race. As my eldest cousin directed the races and slowly introduced Ecuador to the larger adventure racing community, my younger cousins became one of the racing teams. I used to go watch the races until slowly I began volunteering to be part of their support crews. In the majority of adventure races in the world, except for those for the highest trained teams, there are support crews that help teams transition from one discipline to another, from mountain biking to trekking to kayaking to rope systems. The bigger and more important races have both supported and unsupported transition zones. As time passed, both my family members' involvement in racing and the company grew. Some of my cousins stopped competing and they took up other interests, while another became part of an official team. He now competes with the elite level teams and has traveled around the world representing both his college and his country. In the 10 years that he has been involved in adventure racing, he has come to realize that he wishes to dedicate his life to racing and then to organizing races around the world. One of the wonderful aspects of adventure racing is that everyone can be involved in one of the many areas. The most important people are the competitors, but the races would cease to exist without the organizing staff, support crews, media, friends, and family. Any necessary knowledge, technical terms, and concepts are learned as people become involved in this sport, and so the only real requirements are a love of nature, adventure, and adrenaline. I have been able to observe and have read numerous accounts about the inner functionings of each team. Though there are team captains, each person has an individual role. Some are better at navigating and using the maps, while others are able to use their core strength to pull and help their teammates throughout the race. One of the most important roles is that of the teammate that motivates and keeps up the spirits of the rest of the team. Their shared knowledge and skills form the structure of each team, and they rely on each other to be able to get through each of the disciplines. Teams can be composed of a number of people, generally with a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 5, depending on the rules of each race and the race organizers. Communication within the adventure racing community spans from shared teams from different countries to networks, web pages, social media, forums, news, and a shared appreciation of the beauty of the world and the wonders of nature. The main race in Ecuador began as a small 3-day race. It slowly began inviting international teams to race, and in 2008 was introduced to the worldwide network and circuit, the Adventure Racing World Series. The best thing about becoming part of this circuit is that it gave Huayracinchi status. We became the first race of the year, and teams strive to be a part of this as it is a qualifier for the Adventure Racing World Cup. Last year, Huayracinchi was given the huge honor of not only being part of this worldwide circuit, the highest race in the world, but it has also been chosen to host the 2014 Adventure Racing World Cup. My own experience with this community has also grown. I went from being part of a support crew to volunteering and being stationed in different areas of the race. Occasionally, the different teams must go through different control points so that they can mark their passports. Sometimes they will go through the route on their own and mark their passports through their own devices, but occasionally they will have to navigate to specific areas where volunteers physically mark their passports. Eventually, I became part of the organization team, and I would go to the base camp the night before the race in order to help set up. We would have everything set up prior to the team's arrival, and would then guide them through registration, technical talks, and the start of each category. In 2012, I was offered the leading position with the organization team. Along with 5 other people, I was in charge of the social media and news portals during the race. We had teams from over 10 countries, and their family members were at a constant standby for news and information, as the teams covered over 250 miles on foot, mountain bikes, kayaks, and road systems. The elite teams take part in what is called a non-stop race, where they must race against the clock, stopping to rest only when it is absolutely necessary. For the teams, this means years of training and endurance as they work towards achieving their goals. For the organization team, this is a reflection of months of preparation come together, and they must ensure optimum safety and organization as the teams move towards the finish. Every year I spend 3 days in February engrossed in these races. There is nothing more fascinating than being a part of such a worldwide community, and there is nothing quite like being suspended in time where every second counts.